fart in the kitchen? Mysteriously opening closet doors? A rat with a concussion? Grab a snack and help us unpack all that and more. It's time for
Ghost Files Debrief.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Ryan Bergara, and that thing over there is my colleague Shane Madej. Shane.
Each week here on Debrief, we look back at our most compelling evidence, behind-the-scenes moments, and answer your burning questions. And this week, we have a special treat for the audience, thanks to our friends over at Diablo 4. Let's check it out. Watch your favorite ghost hunters challenge ourselves with a nightmarish experience from Diablo 4.
You're used to seeing us in spooky locations, but would we dare go there in our dreams?
Diablo has partnered with a sleep expert to engineer a way to bring the world of Sanctuary to your sleeping mind. Fully immerse yourself in the world and give you the dreaming tools to master it and triumph over evil. In the full-length video available on TikTok, we discuss our love of horror and nostalgic video games like Diablo and take on the experience while on our Ghost Files tour.
Watch us traveling and working late nights, preparing for the experience before bedtime, and seeing if this 8-hour audioscape transports us into the world of Diablo as we listen in our sleep.
A hammer hitting steel. The smell of herbs being ground into elixirs. And the feeling of the brisk, cold air gracing your face and numbing your fingertips.
Try it yourself. Experience the nightmare. Nightmare Fuel by Diablo. Now available on Spotify and YouTube.
Well, check that out, folks. But first, let's get our debrief of Ghost Files' first home haunt started. Shane, what did you think of this place?
I loved it. Kansas City. We were staying in Kansas City for this episode.
We were. We stayed in the city.
It was an absolute dream come true. Ever
Beautiful.
since we went there, people have been asking us, what was your favorite place to visit this season? It was Kansas City. It was
Kansas
incredible.
City, by far.
Beautiful town.
Maybe the best bike ride I've ever had.
Stunning bike ride.
It was beautiful. We went over by the water.
We went by the water. We went over some train tracks. We were out all dang day with Adam Carter.
Yeah,
we were the bike boys.
And then we also
Fearsome foursome.
It was a fantastic time.
Yeah, it was fun.
We screamed as we went over a bridge and over trains.
Yeah,
it was great. And then we also listened to some jazz at night. It was fantastic.
I didn't go out for the jazz. I went to sleep.
You did go to sleep.
Yeah,
but it was a good time. Oh, but also
and then we also went to this family's house.
We should talk about the actual place.
Which was you know what? Fun to do a house call. The other house calls we've done in our storied history as ghost hunters. We had Hannah.
Yes.
From BuzzFeed, and then Loey Lane when we were also doing Unsolved.
That's right.
You know, Hannah's house was very SoCal. It was like, it was up in the valley somewhere, right?
It was up in the valley, yeah.
This, and Loey Lane's was just an apartment in one of those LA apartment complexes.
Yeah.
It has like 3 million units.
Exactly, and a very nice barbecue area.
Very nice barbecue area. This was fun because it had like deep suburban vibes, like almost like a Halloween Haddonfield vibe to the neighborhood.
It was very nice, and I like home haunts just for the reason that it feels like when you're at a home haunt, it's a little more relatable. Like for instance, if we go explore Alcatraz, you turn off the episode, it's like, well, obviously I'm not gonna be able to go to Alcatraz alone, so I'll just go to sleep now.
Yeah.
But if you watch this episode of this home haunt and you turn the episode off, now it's dark and you're in a home that looks very similar to the one you just saw.
It could be haunted.
It could be haunted. You could be haunted.
I did notice that when we were there shooting, I remember thinking, well, this isn't scary at all.
Well, you think that everywhere we go.
I do think that, but I'm thinking in terms of like how it presents to the audience.
Gotcha.
And then when I did watch this episode back, I was like, wow, you know, the home haunts do present on screen as spookier. I don't know if it's because, yeah, like you said, you're not in a prison with great regularity.
I can't imagine you're watching this while in prison.
But you're in a home a lot. That's why Skinamarink is so scary.
Or Poltergeist even.
Poltergeist, yeah.
Could happen to you.
It could happen to you, and it will happen to you unless you call us.
That's right. It's going to. I'll see to it.
I guess the Sally house was also technically a home haunt, but people don't actively live there, do they?
No, they don't live there at the moment. So while Sally was maybe a classic home haunt, it no longer is, in my opinion, because people just go there to sleep.
It's got some of the vibes, but the Sally house also doesn't have like more of a modern suburban kind of look.
It's a B&B essentially now.
Yeah.
It's not really a home where someone lives. The Duyck family, they live at this place.
They do. As far as we know, they still live there.
We haven't checked back in.
We haven't heard from them.
Oftentimes people will ask us like, hey, could you come to this place? Could you help us out? It's very haunted. And I always wonder, have they seen the show? Because that's not quite what we do, if you know what I mean.
Do you know what he means?
We are getting word that our producers have checked in on the Duyck family.
They're doing great.
And apparently they screened the episode in the backyard, and because of the episode, their neighbor was like, wait a second, I thought we were the only ones that were haunted on this block.
Well, they said in the episode that the whole neighborhood's haunted.
That's true. However, you never, to hear it confirmed, normally you just, collect sugar.
They gotta start having meetings. You gotta talk to your neighbors, No,
I don't talk to my neighbors.
I don't talk to my neighbors either.
I've lived in several condos, apartments. I've never once.
I've lived in the same building for 7 years. I don't know any neighbors. I don't know them. Anyway, it was fun.
All right, well, before we get into the thick of it, it's time for some behind the screens. That's right, it's time for everybody's favorite segment, Carter's Travel Vlog.
Let's see what kind of log Carter's pushing out for us this week.
That's right.
Thank you, Lizzie.
You're welcome. But you can refer to me as Her Royal Highness.
Boys, chatting up at Dallas Fort Worth. Beautiful establishment.
It's my palace. Here I am, Bergara and Shane Madej. Can I get a picture
Are you
of
the
you
ghost
guys?
hunters?
Hold on, wait.
Look, it's the ghost hunt. The two ghost hunters. About to go for a little joyride in KC. So didn't realize there is construction blocking the bike path here at Kansas City River. So rerouting, we'll make it work. So where are we going?
Back where we came and then back up the wooden bridge and back to the other side of the path. That's a fucking ball. All
All right, boys, why are we stopping here 15 minutes into our bike ride?
Side brew.
Not even 15 minutes in. Oh! All right, river cheers, boys.
Roll. On and off.
I'm not gonna sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
It's really scary in there.
Yeah.
There's so much. I know I always joke with you. This time I mean it. It's really scary.
Yeah.
It is looking pretty good.
It's really good again, dude.
Yeah, really?
Thank
I
God.
knew it.
It's good.
It's good?
Dumbass.
Oh.
He's gonna eat it off the ground. Eat it.
Bumble. Bumble.
Eat it.
Bumble.
All right, well, that
Fun.
was Carter's log.
Great job, Carter.
Good job pushing that one through. It was good. It was a fun time. Well, next up, if you've seen the episode, you know we caught some compelling pieces of evidence. But right now, we want to shine a light on the evidence we missed. And you, our eagle-eyed viewers, caught.
That's good. What did they get?
Honestly, we had a lot of little things in this episode that you guys spotted. Bumps and bangs, a shadow at the end of a hallway, which unfortunately was just a vacuum cleaner. It happens. But here's a moment that we felt was a little more exciting to watch. This was from @EmilyElden8029 on YouTube. Emily says, at 42:45, when Ryan asks the spirits to close the closet door, you can plainly see the door slowly swinging open. I don't know if Ryan maybe accidentally bumped it or if the closet is at an angle that the door naturally swings open on its own. While I can't see it moving at any other point while it's open, which leads me to lean more towards the ghost listening to Ryan, the camera is shaky enough I could just be missing it. If it is the ghost, it's a good piece of evidence. What are you doing over there?
There's like I feel like an itch. There's like a bramble caught in my jacket or something.
A bramble?
I don't know what it is, but let's take a look. Nice.
Because we open the closet.
We open the closet. Maybe it is a portal to another dimension.
Can you? How about this? Could you close that closet door? All right, last chance, or I'm gonna do it for you. I see it slightly moving, but you have to remember, I just touched that door. So for me to feel like it would be compelling, it would need to be there for quite some time and then go on its own.
You'd even going like, dum, dum, dum,
yeah,
dum,
and even
dum,
that
dum,
could be
dum,
like
dum, dum,
the
dum.
AC. Sometimes things like that happens to doors in my house, and my house is not haunted because I live there, and they know better.
They're frightened of this man.
They should be.
And they should be.
Either way, Emily, thank you for keeping an eye out. I appreciate it. I know you have my back, and I do think this one, though, was unfortunately just me.
Yeah, great work. Okay.
Jesus.
This next moment is from Francesca. Quote, I'm guessing at 31 minutes that the person at the bottom of the stairs is one of the crew because it damn freaked me out when I saw it. LMAO.
Why'd you put quotation marks, air quotes around Francesca? That's a real person.
As we know.
I get you doing it for evidence, but you're like, allegedly Francesca. Pretty sure this person sent this question in.
Oh, we'll see.
So Dina actually saw the shadow figure.
We have confirmation that it's Ben,
our audio guy.
our audio engineer. You may know him from Ghost Files Episode 1.
That's right, you heard him, you didn't see him.
He farted. You may recognize him from Food Files Episode 2.
You heard from his mouth in that episode, but you heard from his ass in the first
That's
episode.
right, yeah.
So both debunked in this case, but as always, thank you guys for keeping an eye out for us, you know? We're all ghost hunters
Don't
here.
feel bad that we debunked them. We appreciate you sending stuff in. It's our job.
A debunked piece of evidence is as valuable as a non-debunked piece of
Yeah.
evidence because that just kind of shows the that we're filtering things through some sort of quality control.
That's right. And I want him to get evidence. I don't actually, but you know.
He finally admits it. He finally admits it. All right, enough of that. Moving right along this week, we wanted to take a look at some of your guys' incredible fan art, or as we like to call them, fart.
Let's go to the fart corner.
Now, once again, we're going to zoom through these to include as many farts as possible. So just make sure that you use that pause button to check out all of these immaculate farts if you want to get a closer look or inspect a fart a little bit more thoroughly. Sometimes I do that as well. Now, first up, this is by @CarbonFigures. This looks like all Shane, except
Is this all just me?
different versions of you
Oh, I guess it's me.
nailed to a wall.
What would you guys call, like, a murder of crows? What would you call a collection of Shanes?
A nightmare.
Next up, we have one from Sugar and Pine.
That's nice.
That's us.
It's got us with a little like some ghouly outlines to us, maybe like a devil on Shane. It's fun stuff as usual, classic. Next one we have is @HannahHero. Sent this bad boy in. It looks also like Shane and I are each 7 feet tall at least, which
Hey, we're tall guys in this one,
wouldn't
huh?
that be the dream, huh?
Yeah.
Actually, 7 feet would be a lot. I feel like that'd be too much.
That's scary.
That's
yeah.
very, very hard.
The next one is from Rosie Opal. What's going on there?
Rosie has a really good image of what it looks like from the helmets. That are solo
Who's at the
investigation
top
helmets.
there?
Looks like the Boo Buddy.
That's the Boo Buddy? It looks like a dong.
It does kind of look like a dong.
Did I make this pose? I don't know that I can bend my hand that way. Am I missing something here?
Can you do that?
Is this a K-pop thing?
Can you do that?
I feel like I'm being baited into doing some sort of white supremacist thing, so I'm not gonna do it. Nice try. Our next one is
I'll do
from...
what I must. It does that shit.
It's Ghosty X. That's Ryan as Beaver.
Ha
Beavergara.
Oh man, Mari's gonna love this.
That's good. You should get that framed.
This looks exactly like me.
That's
Look at the
great.
popcorn. That's exactly what I look like.
Yeah.
Like a little fucking
I love it.
little beaver in the corner, just keeping it all to myself. I wish I could walk around on all fours like that and have it be comfortable. A little waddles.
It's not comfortable,
Yeah, well, with my current nasty human hands, I can't do it. All right, let's move on to the next one. I love that though.
This is from Kachowski V8 with a pretty impressive pencil drawing here. That was really nice.
Oh wow, that might be one of the most accurate renderings of each of our faces, particularly your face.
Sometimes drawings are so good, I wonder, like, why don't you just take a photo? You know? This is one of those.
It's pretty good. This next part is an equally realistic drawing sent in from Omelet Egg. And you're seeing that on your screen there.
You know what? Very diplomatic here because they're saying I'm taller than you, but they're giving you some really nice tone there.
They're giving me some guns there.
Yeah, absolutely.
This, honestly, I take back what I said about the last one. This might be.
We will be reaching out to you about the Ghost Files Season 3 poster.
That's pretty good. Most realistic rendering I've ever seen of me in my entire life.
Pretty good.
It captures our essence, is what I like. I like that your big head is just barely teetering on your torso.
Yeah. And I like your wrinkly little smile.
It's good.
It's good.
Moving on to the next one.
Though, the only inaccuracy is that I should have a tiny torso.
Yes.
And giant legs.
And I should have a longer torso and smaller legs.
You should have a torso equal to mine.
Yeah, because
we have same torso.
Same torso. We wear the same size shirts.
Yeah, I just have big
legs.
Let's next up we've got, this is from Anti-Diddy. This is a fart of the famed Ghost Files phone and our production assistant Violet's hand. Very nice.
And I love the phone.
Yeah, it's got a fun, this has a fun look to it. It looks like it could be like an ad for a movie from the 50s or something.
But it also kind of looks like a similar art style to kind of like Spider-Verse, which I kind of like. Coming up, we've got a fart submitted by @Mouse Artwork. Whoa! It's like we're spooky.
We look like cool guys. Here, look at my chin.
Like
I'm always so
werewolves.
impressed when you guys give me a nice chin, because I don't have that. I don't have a jawline.
I think you have a jawline. Yeah, see?
Sneaking in a few more. This one is a tribute to me, thank God. The Unscratchable Shane. Thank you deeply for your recognition. This is from Jay Pollock. Let's see.
That's pretty good.
I love it.
I like my face.
Am I about to go down a Pennywise hole?
I'm not sure, but it looks like that raccoon's about to go down your hole. He is.
Yeah, just a little bit. Is that the raccoon that you saw in Ghost Files? Is that what we're looking at there?
Well, we also see, you actually see Ryan, an I Love Pot written under it. That's a reference to Waverly Hills. You got the blue
Well, then
there.
I wonder if the haunted raccoon is supposed to be Brandon from the hot dog, because he did turn into a raccoon.
Oh, you know what it is? The raccoon is actually from the first episode of this season.
I don't know about
where
that.
people thought it was a raccoon and I
It's a
thought
hot
it was a
dog
small
reference.
dog.
Yeah, it might be a hot dog.
Pretty sure it's a raccoon reference from the
a bat!
Missouri State. And this fart is from Liz and Ivy. It's a throwback from this season. Let's take a look. Oh, very your knees.
Now that's accurate.
They nailed your legs. This is what it looks like to look at Shane often. You just see nothing but legs. You look very happy.
I was happy in
This
there.
kind of does look very much like you if you got turned into a toon.
Yeah.
Toon Shane.
And last but not least, this one from Jay Lacine. Looks like it has a guest appearance by Nighttime Dan. Feels like a good place to end. Let's take a peek.
Oh, dude.
Well, there he is! I stared at that picture for so long before realizing where he was. But yes, that's him.
Giving the finger down there, wearing
Ghost
headphones.
Squirrel. What does that say? Daddy Nerd, Jog King, Ghoul Season. Very nice.
That's really good from the Obelisk. We got a Ghost Squirrel, and then we also have the Mothman back there.
And we're both wearing our stripes.
Gotta love it. Just like
do
that one
that
episode of the Magnolia Hotel. Nothing different about that episode.
Thank you for all your wonderful submissions this season.
Thanks for all the farts.
We're looking forward to season 3 already.
And now, last but not least, Qua, which is where we answer your questions directly from you guys at home, including at least 2 questions every week exclusively from our patrons over on patreon.com/watcher.
Who also, coincidentally, now that I think of it, they actually get to watch all Ghost Files episodes a whole day early.
That's almost like, it kind of sounds like a good deal.
It does sound like a good deal. Our first question comes from Becky Holden on YouTube. Do the owners of the properties ever express annoyance with the outcomes of the episodes? I.e., if Shane implies evidence is faked, or if there isn't a lot of evidence within the episode, do they ever give feedback once the episode is out?
The answer is yes. Sometimes we've had places that are upset with an episode, especially if they're convinced the place is haunted or if they don't like something that the big guy says.
You know, you go out there, you tell people you got evidence of ghosts, you gotta understand. In the same way that I put myself out there and say I don't believe in ghosts and I gotta deal with people telling me, well, you should, you know. It's gonna happen. If you say this place is haunted, you're gonna get people who are asking questions about it. So, you know, you gotta roll with the punches.
Yeah.
Toughen up a bit. If you really believe in it, then you shouldn't be all bent out of shape about people like me saying it ain't real, you know?
It's true, I guess.
If you've got to,
I love
here's the
that
thing.
I thought the way you were, the tone of it at the beginning was kind of like slowly rolling towards an apology, and then you just took the ball back and doubled down. It was like,
but if you got a hot fudge sundae in front of you, right?
I'd love to see where this goes. Yes, if I have a hot fudge sundae in front of me.
Maybe you've got it like behind a curtain and you're eating it, you're enjoying it, and someone outside the curtain is like, I can't see that hot fudge sundae, so I don't believe you have one.
But I'm eating it right now. It's delicious.
Then shouldn't you be content with that?
But if they keep saying I don't believe you, you don't have a hot fudge sundae, I'm gonna be like.
And then I'd say, show me the hot fudge sundae.
And I'd be like, here it is.
And then I'd say, I believe you.
But then, and sometimes I show you the hot fudge sundae, and you're like, "That's not a hot fudge sundae."
No, you hold up your phone and hit play, and I just hear hot fudge sundae.
That's not. I'm like, "This is a delicious hot fudge sundae," and you're like, "Looks like a bowl of popcorn to me."
This is how we have fun
and
here.
I'm just like, "What are you talking about? It's a hot fudge sundae."
This is, that's the game. Anyway, we try to be really nice to the people. We're the best ghost hunters. We're also the nicest ghost hunters.
And sometimes you can't be both.
Ask
Michael Jordan. He was not a nice guy to his teammates. And
even Scottie Pippen?
Even Scottie Pippen. I don't think they're even friends anymore.
Oh.
All right, next we have a question from @SunDritz on YouTube. How many people usually go in the buildings on the main investigation with you guys? Could some evidence potentially be other crew members? When we go into these places, we usually ride pretty slim. It's me, Shane, Lizzie, Mark, Carter, Ben, Adam. 7 people.
7 people. Adam.
Oh, no, and then a production assistant sometimes, if we have the ability to. So sometimes it's Brendon or Violet. Oh, in the room that we're shooting, that's just me, you, Mark, and maybe sometimes Ben, depending on
He'll
whether
try
or
and
not.
hang back as far as he can
Yeah,
to
like
get sound.
if his like sound equipment could be from behind a wall somewhere, he will get out of the room. But sometimes he'll be in the room with us.
But Ryan is very thorough and insistent upon making sure that nobody, everyone's pretty good at like being deathly still during it.
Right.
Like nobody moves. If somebody does make a noise, they usually like kind of give us a heads up, like, oh, that was me, sorry.
And then I don't say anything back to that.
He boils with rage.
And then later on, I wait till they go to sleep.
Yeah. And then what do?
I killed them. In all seriousness, we do have sometimes a crew member make a noise, or pretty much anytime we hear any kind of disturbance live, I will ask first, was that any of you? And if the answer is no, then we'll investigate. And if the answer is yes, then we just go, okay, never mind. And we're able to debunk it on the spot. Now for the sounds that we hear in post, when we're going through the evidence and the audio and video later after the fact, of course I can't ask if that's the crew member then, but we have ways of figuring out if it is the crew member, and we go through those ways. So yes, it does happen every now and then, but I think we're pretty damn good about debunking them and not giving you guys any kind of false reads or something like that. And speaking of which, we do have a video to show you guys. Now this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is from this episode. We were all outside, except there was 1 to 2 crew members inside while we were filming outside. The 2 people were, I don't even have to say their names, but there were 2 people inside, and I was listening for evidence. And you have to understand, when I'm trying to find evidence, I sit with my head like this, and I have headphones over my ears, and I press them into my head just so I could hear every little noise, and I turn the volume all the way up. And I'm sitting listening for like a little or something like that. And what I heard was a fart so thunderous that I slapped the headphones off my head because it almost broke my eardrums. And for a second, this is how stupid I am, I thought, we just caught a ghost farting. And in reality, it was one of the 2 people that were inside. I don't know who it was, but let's just say I don't blame them if they don't want to own up to this, because, folks, this is one of the most gnarly.
This is my first time hearing this.
Farts I have ever heard
the
recorded
story,
in
but
any kind of meeting.
I haven't actually seen it.
Let's get that volume up. Not that I'm going to need it, trust me. Now remember, what you're about to see may be disturbing. What?
That's insane.
Whoopee cushion sounding fart.
Wait, can you play it one more time? I really thought you were being hyperbolic with the way you
No, I feel like this room stinks now. Like that's how powerful that fart sounded.
That's
that
crazy.
It permeated through the YouTube space and into our environment now.
That's insane.
Now, I have a couple theories. I know this is not a show where we try and theorize who this fart
Have you
belongs
like
to.
looked at all the synced cameras to figure out who was in, who was out?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, there's only 2 people it could have been.
Brendon
or Adam. And here's my theory. Here's the reason. Adam, our DIT, is stationed on the lower level of the building, so he's down there.
Yeah.
Brendon, at this point, I think was running cards or equipment out from inside to us.
Yeah.
So therefore, I find it highly unlikely that it would be Adam, and I think it only could be.
Also, I'll say this, based on the personality of Brendon and Adam, Think about the two of them, who after their own fart would go,
That was a doozy.
that's an Adam move.
I think that might be an Adam move. Moving on. At Daniela AV wants to know, what is your favorite part of the entire investigation? Using the ghostly equipment, exploring the building, going in alone? Well, I could tell you what, it's definitely not going in alone. My favorite part, oh God, that's actually a good question. What is my favorite part? My favorite part is probably the first room, honestly. That's where we get a vibe of the place. We get to find out what we're in for in terms of activity, and we're all generally very awake at that point. And there's an excitement in the air of like, oh, we're gonna get to investigate another place. That's what I would say. Probably the first room for me. Least favorite part, by far, is going alone.
Pass.
You have no favorite part.
I like visiting new towns.
Well, that's not part of the investigation, though.
I like to internalize the area because, you know, a place is only the place it is because of the context geographically.
No, I'm gonna make what part of the actual ghost hunt you like?
My least favorite part is when you do your investigation and I have to talk the whole time.
That actually is also not as fun.
Because by then it's 3 a.m.
What's the
My favorite?
The most tolerable part of a ghost hunt is the best way to frame it for you.
One of the things I think we've set out to do with Ghost Files that we haven't done is more genuine exploration, which is still really hard to do because it's a fine line of you want things to be on schedule and like knock out all the rooms, especially in some of the places that are very big.
Yeah, that's right.
So there's not a lot of time for like moseying.
Yeah.
But when those moments do present themselves sort of organically, that's always enjoyable to me.
Not this season, but last season we tried having like 30 to 40 minutes of you and I walking around with just you and I and a camera to explore the place, and we used literally no footage of it.
Yeah, which is a shame. Like, I don't know. I don't know if there's a way to work that into it. It's tough. It's so systematized. Our next question, we've gotten this question before. This is from Ryan Nuna. If you had the opportunity to tie your ghost to any location, object, or person, who, what, or where would it be? I'll tie it to that guy who plays the good doctor, Freddie Highmore.
Why him?
I don't know. I'd be curious to see if it like affects his performance. Like if I'm haunting him so that he can't sleep, do they cancel the good doctor? Like, is he?
Do you like the good doctor?
I've never seen it.
So what? Have you seen
I've only seen very funny commercials for it, but
have you seen his performance? Is it? You're not a fan of it, or?
I don't know if it's good or bad. I don't want to make a statement about it because it's a sensitive role. Maybe I'll pick someone else. Jimmy Fallon. I'm gonna haunt Jimmy Fallon every night, and I want to see if he can't host the Tonight Show anymore.
You know who you should haunt if you're gonna haunt a person?
Who?
And I could haunt an object, and we could tag team it.
Okay.
You should haunt Tammy, Steven's wife, and then, and then I'll haunt Steven's Tesla, and therefore the two things that matter most to him will be haunted.
Why you want to haunt Tammy?
That way Steven will come home and he'll be like, I think my wife is haunted, and he'll get in his Tesla.
Guess I'll have to sleep in the car again.
And he'll and then he'll be like, I need to get away from here. I need to go to the other thing that makes me feel comfortable, my Tesla.
Luckily, I can always sleep in my car. It's come in handy countless times.
And the car will self-drive him only to cemeteries.
Final question from YouTube was submitted by Sarah Jump 9273. Have you all ever considered having the owner go with you on the investigation? For the episode, it seems like the spirits are mostly attached to Dina, so maybe they just have no interest in talking or showing themselves to you if they are real. ... Oh.
We actually did kind of wonder about that, but it's a lot to ask somebody to be there with us for like 6 to 8 hours at nighttime. It's not like something that's very normal for anybody to do.
All due respect to the people who invite us to these places. They'd be dead weight. You know, we're out here throwing fastballs, serving up meatballs. Is that what you say?
No, serving up meatballs is a bad thing in baseball. When you throw a meatball across the plate, you're just giving it up for them to eat it. And
we're smacking meatballs that are being served up to us by these kind folks.
I'll tell you who was smacking up some meatballs, whoever laid that fart, because good Lord, that was some fart fuel.
They were probably checking for meatballs after that one.
Anyways, moving on. A lot of versions of this question got asked a bit. So from Twitter, at Mon Olivia asks, at 10237, was that y'all saying Ryan over the walkie twice? Just checking, LOL. So in the episode, Shane does say Ryan maybe once or twice, but we don't actually put that caption on screen. The only time you see—
Because it's me.
Yeah, the only time, and it's very quiet in the background. The only times you actually hear Ryan from the spirit box, those are the times that you see Ryan with the parentheses, possibly.
From Scotch Drinker on Twitter. Hi, Ryan. Did you feel upon hearing your name being repeated up to 3 to 4 times after your prompt during the second spirit box session? Did you feel really happy in that moment? Because I thought it was pretty compelling. Or were you more spooked out?
Dude, that time when you heard
Hey,
your
you
name,
remember that?
do you remember that? Do you like it? Do you like
that?
Do you like ghosts?
You like that?
I just was wondering, it seemed like you'd be stoked.
Were you stoked or spooked? Stoked or spooked?
I was stoked and spooked.
You were stooked.
I was stoked.
Or spoked? Stooked.
I
was
was
stooked.
I think spoked is also fun.
Stooked is better.
I like stoked better.
Stooked.
Fucking stoked, dude. I gotta say, I weirdly got so zoned in to the evidence I was getting in that moment that it kind of superseded my fear. So I would actually say the stoke outweighed the spook, but I was both, honestly, in that moment. I just knew that we were getting something that was really cool. The first initial reaction I did have to it was like, holy shit, we never get this thing to say my name, because oftentimes when I conduct a spirit box session, I will say, just to let us know that you actually want to communicate with us, can you say our names as just kind of like a baseline? And to hear that was pretty cool.
Pretty cool stuff.
It was cool. Moving on. On Instagram, ReaganB04 wants to know, will we see the rat video? / do you think because this house was real-time haunted, the evidence with the flashlight and spirit box was much better? I don't think because the house is real-time haunted, the evidence has greater bearing. I don't believe that. But I think any place could, you know, be active at any point. So I don't think any evidence is stronger than any other evidence for that reason.
And tell us about the rat.
So Barbara Walters fucking
us about the
style-ass
rat,
question.
Ryan.
So there was a piece of evidence that did not make it into this episode. There was a nice little juicy orb, or as Shane and actually I kind of like to call them, specks of dust. It was floating and it went into the chicken coop, and at the exact moment that that happened, we hear a large clunk. And I was like, whoa, I don't really believe in orbs, but it kind of feels like that orb went in there and crashed into something. I was half right. The orb didn't crash into something. What actually crashed into the chicken coop was a little rat that concussed itself on the side of the coop. It really whacked its head, and I didn't realize that. This evidence almost made it into the episode, and then our editor said, like, hey, was able to find the source of the thump. It was a little rat scurrying at the bottom of the frame and whacking itself on the head.
Ran head first into the coop.
Just bonked it. We could watch that clip now. And by the way, the reason why this person that submitted this question knows this is because we talked about this at some of our live shows, Ghost Files Live, which you could purchase tickets for now, I believe. There's some left for the second show in Los Angeles, which we added, and I think there's just a tiny bit left over in San Francisco, Vegas, and Orlando. They added just a handful of tickets. So
that's right.
Go ahead and check those out. You can get juicy little exclusives like this.
And now on to Patreon. Carlisle Victor asks, while recording in the Boo Bunker, is that the first time Shane is seeing the submitted fan evidence, videos, EVP, etc.? Yes.
Yeah.
It is.
It is.
Yep.
Moving on.
Moving on.
From Klaus the Dino on Patreon, do you think you might get more activity from equipment in a home hunt because of it being more a residential area? More chance of interference from radio / electronics, etc.? No, because the places we go to are they're near all that stuff.
They're in pretty populated areas generally.
That often gets lost on some of the episodes when we go to like a prison or a castle even. These are always near very highly populated areas. The Winchester house is down the street from a Chipotle and a beautiful mall.
Gorgeous mall. One
of the best malls I've ever been to. Now I will say, as a nice little tease here, the season finale for this season is in a place that's maybe one of the most remote places we've been to in terms of how far it was from everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very eerie little farmhouse. That might be home to a demon. Now, final question this week comes from Cheryl. As Dino said, she is often awoken between 2:50 and 3:10 a.m. Did any of the bedroom investigations you did happen during this time period to try and recreate the nighttime shenanigans? Great question. My solo was actually right during that time, I believe. So That perhaps is why I had so much activity on the spirit box and why things were going a little nutty when I was there alone. Lucky me.
That's a classic time of the night to sort of wake up.
The witching hour.
Yeah, that's when they get you.
3 a.m. Anyways, that wraps up this investigation. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Ghost Files and Ghost Files Debrief. Remember to submit your questions for the next episode on Patreon, YouTube, Twitter, or Instagram.
And again, if you'd like more behind-the-scenes content and to see Ghost Files episodes early, consider becoming a member of our Patreon community over at patreon.com/watcher. Folks, we'll see you next week.
Sounds good.